Should we do a quick survey? How many people are interested in licensure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, and non-licensure. Okay. And I had a couple of emails this week. One was from non-licensure and one was licensure. Okay. So, you've probably accessed the website and you have all the information there, and you have this paper here which has different programs on it and things like that. You don't have to go through all that kind of stuff. Admissions, there's a website for that, and you just go through the admissions thing. But, any other comments you want to make? Or?
I thought that I would maybe explain a little bit about how the program came about, so that to give some background to the students. So, exactly.
Hard work and sweat and
Absolutely.
tears. And
Absolutely. It was
okay.
all of that, but also lots of fun, I think, maybe.
Fun?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, as I said, I teach in the English department. So the way that this program is organized is that it's sort of co-hosted, I guess, by the School of Arts and Sciences, specifically the English department, and also the School of Education. So regardless of whether you're interested in the certification track or non-certification track, you will be taking courses from both entities, so to say. I've been in Bridgewater for a while, and this has been a long process, and so we're very happy to have this program. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background, before the master's program, we had a TESOL certificate program, and it's still around, and it's a much smaller program, and with a much narrower focus. It has 6 courses as opposed to the full master's program, and it won't give you a licensure to teach, or it won't give you a master's degree. But if you're interested in that, you can certainly talk to me about that too. Some of the courses do kind of have shared by both programs.
Right. Originally, when we set up the certificate program, it would also make sure that you was endorsed for sheltered English immersion. If you're in education, now you know the Department of Education has been going nuts for the last year trying to stay out of jail or keep the Federal Department of Justice away, because they made a lot of mistakes when it came to this kind of thing. So consequently, they changed the requirements for sheltered English immersion, and our certificate program is no longer giving you that kind of endorsement. We had to set up a separate course for that. So there is a course, but it's still waiting approval. That part is waiting approval from the Department of Education. However, if you do finish the master's degree program for licensure, you will be endorsed for sheltered English immersion automatically by completing the whole program. So that's the big thing. But basically, we're more interested in your questions, I think. Yes?
How does this run as a dual? Like either a dual master's, or right now I'm already matriculated.
Okay.
I have 8 courses to finish my master's, but I'm interested in the program. But I don't have to get just elementary education. And I don't need a license because I'm so old. I'm grandfathered in, so I didn't have to I don't have to take an MCAT. I'm already licensed, I'm already a licensed teacher. But how would that affect, like, how would I do a dual? And what would be the best track?
If you, well, I don't think there would be a fast track.
No, the best track.
Oh, the best track. Well, if you're going to get the license, you don't need the license. So the difference is going to be like in the licensure program, you're still going to have to do a practical for 6 credits. In the non-licensure program, you have to do, but you have.
You could have a thesis, or you can take courses. So you could be all courses. But in your case,
would that cover me for the requirements that Massachusetts is now?
Well, in your case, I
think
I would recommend doing the certificate program instead, because if you already have a master's and you're all certified, and this is kind of sort of an additional thing, I might consider doing the certificate.
Is the certificate those 1, 2, 3, 4 classes?
It has 18 credit
it's not the old 1, 2, 3, 4, where the 4 was the testing. I mean, the 3 was the testing, and they eliminated that because there's new testing coming out.
Yeah, it's not, that's the
That's the
certificate
old
program
certificate?
doesn't really have this sheltered instruction component any longer. So you would be probably taking
Another
TESOL,
course.
yeah, TESOL for linguistics, second language acquisition theories, probably second
more
language
the-
writing, English type courses rather than education courses.
So the more non-licensure.
Right.
And if I wanted to do it as a master's with the core courses that I've already taken,
But you have
being
not.
reciprocal?
Oh, you're talking about some of the courses, like
teacher ed
teachers
research.
research. Yeah, but I think that's the only one probably.
Is
Yeah,
that the
that's
only
the only one that's
reciprocal?
gonna overlap.
So, and I don't know, we haven't really talked about this, would be counted toward a
You wouldn't have to
second
take the course over again, but you will still probably need the credits. So you'd have to take something else, an elective.
So would it be a dual master's and that
You
would
get
be,
another master's degree, yeah.
like a dual master program, and that would be counted or no?
Well, we really don't have a dual program,
You
so
don't
you
have
would
a-
graduate with that master's, and then if you wanted to
You can
get
a second
another one
master's.
to collect,
Yeah.
you can add to your collection.
Right.
So,
More education is always great.
so the non-licensure is there.
Well, I don't think it's better or worse. I think in your case, if you're not interested in licensure, if it doesn't really give you more advantages, then I would go with this certificate that is a non-licensure type program that has 6 courses as opposed to, what
Which
do you
is the
have,
concentration
12
two,
or,
or even
yes.
separate, concentration two?
Concentration training, yes.
I have my initial license in ESL and I'm teaching right now, so how is that, will this help me advance to the next level?
Are you teaching in a private school or in a public school?
Public school?
Do you have a master's degree?
No.
You mean going from initial to like professional?
Yeah.
That's between you and the district. It depends on what the
Well,
district requires.
You need a master's in something, so.
Well, then,
that would
that'll
be-
work then.
And then the same coursework as well. I mean, I took some coursework, so.
So I think it would be between you and your advisor, which probably
Well,
gonna.
in your case too, it
figure out
might be
the
better
best
to go with the
courses.
non-licensure route, because you already have a license. And you get a master's degree. Because the licensure part requires a 6-credit practicum, which you wouldn't do.
I already did one.
Right, which you wouldn't do, so you'd have to end up taking 2 more electives.
Then I would be your advisor, and I would try to advise you to take courses that you haven't taken before, or something,
Right.
substitute or something like that, something new, so that you don't do. But it's, regardless, all these courses are graded courses, so even if you have taken, let's say, a course in linguistics, the course that we have in linguistics for the TESOL program, for the graduate TESOL program, is going to be different from the one on the undergraduate level, and I think that if you were to do that, you would have sort of an advantage over other people, because you'll come with a background, with a good foundation around it.
I've taken graduate courses too for ESL.
Okay. So I think that what would be helpful is just to sit down and to see what you have taken and what we offer, and then to try to figure out what it's.
If you're taking graduate courses and they're fairly recent, like in the last 5 years, then there's a possibility we can transfer the credits.
Is it up to 2 courses?
Okay, I think I had some of my questions answered by the questions that you asked, but I'll run by my situation. I'm a Boston Public School teacher, so I've already had to take the state-required courses at the graduate level because we've had ESL and we're part of the Justice Department issue, obviously. And I think maybe I got on your mailing list because I'm one of the teachers who has to now recertify in 2014. And the retail program that 150 of us were registered for with the state was canceled in Boston. So I'm wondering if that's why a couple of us got information from Bridgewater, if our names found our way to you via the state. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's possible. What's
It's possible.
happening, I'm also working on the SEI endorsement courses for Bridgewater, and the state was adamant and said that we cannot use these endorsement courses for people who already have a license. It's only for students who are going to be taking our programs. So we can't, like, if you're not gonna get the retail from Boston, you're gonna have to figure out some other way of doing it.
Well, apparently according to the state, I already have all the graduate courses and I technically don't have to do it again. But I would like to, because I would like to get the TESOL certificate to teach overseas, because I'm at the end of my career and that's one of the things on my bucket list, because I speak a second language that I'd like to.
What do you speak?
I speak Portuguese and I studied a few other languages, so, but I would like to go to Ireland and teach in Ireland. I'm of Irish descent, my grandparents.
So your interest would be more in a non-licensure track?
A non-licensure track, but when this came through, this just arrived Friday, so that's very Boston Public School-like, to get something, you know, 2 or 3 days before it's going to happen. So in my mind, I was thinking that this might be some way related to retail, another avenue for us to recertify, because I am going to keep my certification active. Interesting question, huh?
If you get the master's degree, then you'll be...
I have it. I actually have a master's
You have a
in
master's
teaching and
degree, so...
everything. Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how it's going to help you out there.
Well, to teach in a foreign school, you need the certificate. You
Okay.
can have 100, you can have a PhD, it doesn't matter. They want that certificate overseas, the TESOL. They're looking for that everywhere in the schools.
So in your case, I would also go for the certificate of TESOL, the 6 courses program rather than the full master's one, because you really don't need to get a second master's for what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because you already have a lot of foundation in education. So. And you can probably do that depending on how many courses you want to take, but you know, 1 course at a time will take you a couple of years, but we offer summer courses, so it could be done faster.
The way we're setting it up, we're going to have at least 4 courses a semester. 2 English and 2 TESOL courses each semester.
But if you have a full-time job, I would probably not recommend
Right.
doing 4 courses.
Graduate school, 3 courses is a full load for graduate school. And if you took 2 courses a semester and 1 in the summer, you get it over in a couple of years.
If you took 2 and then 2 in the summer, some 1 in summer too, because we offer summer courses too.
Mhm.
We've done anyway.
Yes.
I know that this is the first time this program is running, so it's on a different schedule than the other MEC programs, but I was wondering if admissions decisions are going to be all made after July 15th, or if it's on a rolling basis, because I was interested in applying for a graduate assistantship, but I wasn't sure how that would work when I'm not sure when the...
We have, because it's a new program, admissions requirements as far as timelines have been changed just for this year. So if you do apply, you'll get admitted in a timely manner. I can't say exactly how that's done, because that's the College of Graduate Studies. The other thing is that you can take up to 6 credits before you're admitted.
Yeah, but if you're interested in assistantship, that's a
You need
little
to have a
bit...
clear admit status, it says.
Right. If you're going to be an assistant, then you have to have that. Have you looked into it at all?
I have. The only thing I need in order to apply for that is to know for sure whether I'm in. I already talked with one of my professors because I did my undergrad here, and she told me that she has one in mind that if I apply, I should suggest that I would be placed there if it works out. But I put all my information in already. I applied. I found out about it and applied the same day.
Well,
So I'm just missing one of my letters of recommendation.
okay. I've had grad assistants in the past, and the decision can go really fast if you have a position lined up. So you need to go back to the professor and say, okay, we got everything in order here, now help me get admitted, and they can do that.
All right, I'll work on it.
Other questions? Some of our courses are online, some are partially online. And we have evening courses. So if it's on campus, it's an evening course. We work around teacher schedules.
Yeah. So usually the courses that are in the English department are taught usually on either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday at 4:45 to 7:25. And then we have education courses that are 100% online, but then we also have courses that are sort of intensive, and there could be several kind of longer meetings throughout the semester. Maybe 3 or 4 weekends or something like that.
Right, sometimes they're scheduled for weekends, so it'll be like 3 weekends. They go 4 hours on Friday and 8 hours on Saturday for like 3 weekends. Yep.
Are there any courses here that are 100% online with no
Yes.
option for?
Well, it depends on the instructor, okay? If the instructor says they want to have it online, then they can do that. That's their choice. We're in the process of hiring a new person who comes highly recommended. She worked very hard with the Department of Education in Massachusetts to help them get their sheltered English program together. And we're very lucky, but she's not ready to relocate yet, so she's going to be teaching online.
Yeah, but I would say that you will probably get a really good combination of both online and face-to-face courses. So you're not going to be able to do everything online, and you're not going to be able to do everything
We couldn't put
face-to-face.
everything online because it requires a whole other certification thing that we're just not going to do.
I think I'm the opposite. I'd rather it be
On campus?
Yeah.
Which one are you interested for, the certificate or the?
I need my master's, and I'm sure you've already answered this, but is it 24 credits or 33 credits for the master's?
It's
31,
Okay,
31?
31 credits.
isn't it? 33?
Yes.
Okay, 33.
33, and then the core 24.
Yeah,
All right.
33.
And so all the classes that have E and GL in front of them are English courses, and so far we don't have any online English courses. That might change, we'll see. But so far
Well, see,
they're all
the-
face-to-face.
The difference between English and the education, I think, is the English, it seems like it's better to be on campus because you can have a lot more discussions. You can have a lot more face-to-face things and more talking about ideas and stuff like that. Whereas the education courses, you're going to have an assignment, you're going to go do a unit plan, and it's going to be you done with formative assessments, so you'll have an assignment to do as part of the unit plan. You're going to do that, hand it in, and you can do it digitally, and it's faster that way. Because the turnaround, if you were sitting in a classroom, you hand it in 1 week, and then you get the results back the next week. Whereas when we do things online, you get it in on Monday, and you have feedback by Friday, and then you go fix it, and then you go on to the next part and do it again. So it works a lot better when you have projects.
But if you're interested in the second concentration, the non-licensure one, if you already have a master's.
No, I need my master's.
You need your
yeah.
master's, then the licensure one would be better.
And do you guys have any idea of, as far as how many slots you have open for like the first cohort, or?
Well, we're not really doing a cohort.
Okay.
It's, you come and you take the courses, people decide their own schedules, and work that way. We can do that.
But you don't know like how many applicants you'll select for?
Well, if we're looking at this group, and supposedly we got 11 people coming from overseas, we may have more. So we have room for, in the education course, we have room for 20 students in each section.
And in English, 15.
So there'll be courses, they're all not going to fill up. It's looking good as far as we're concerned. We're going to definitely have enough people to keep our courses going. We're supposed to have at least 5 students in order to have a course go. We can do it with less than 5, usually the first couple of classes.
Yeah, but I don't think.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
So I think that if you're concerned about the application, I think my advice would be to try to put all the stuff together, and you have all the recommendations, and, all of this, and just turn it in as soon as possible.
Well, you don't need the whole thing together at once. If you're interested and you want to do this, then start the application process. They'll create a file for you, and as you complete the necessary requirements, they'll keep it until you're ready to, until everything is done. Once it's done, then they'll process it, and then they'll go through the admissions.
I think my only concern with the application process was I was looking online and you need at least 2 academic references. I've been out of school for a little while, so like I still keep in contact with like one of my professors, but I don't know who I would get another academic reference from because I've been out of school since '07, you know? That's something for another time.
No, it's,
I thought it was one.
no, I don't know who put that in there, that was not my idea.
It's 3 references and 2 academic, it says.
Yeah,
Well, I think, this is what I think, the applications are actually looked at by Ken and myself. So, in my case, I would look at the letters, and if you have at least 1 academic and 2 maybe from your professional life and, you know, your employee or supervisor, something like that, not some people who
Yeah.
supervise.
I like
they're
that.
like, yes,
Right.
or, you know, well, things happen. I did have a student once whose reference was his mother. Finally recommend. So if it's not something like that, then
please, take them.
yes,
Yeah.
and it was a him too.
Just a question on the courses, are they broad K to 12, or are they ever separated out?
The
by
education
levels?
courses are gonna be pre-K to 12.
But your, like, well, you have a reading course, you have a sped course, and you have your TESOL courses. Are those ever broken into just elementary, or?
No, actually, we were approved to license your people from pre-K through 6 and 5 through 12. Which license you're gonna get is more or less up to you.
Okay, but the
One that
courses will
applies.
cover all.
Yeah, it's gonna cover the whole range. Especially, it's not that difficult with the education courses. Very often, I do with the special ed course, I'll have people interested in secondary and people interested in elementary, and I'll just group them together. And they end up working with each other. And then I just work that way, so it's not like it's that difficult to do.
I don't know if this helps, but I came in later, like, much later, and I got professional recommendations that were accepted. Because I've been out for 20+ years.
And I think it's a good thing to explain this, to just say, you know, this is the situation, so that we know when we're looking at.
Yeah. In our special ed masters, we don't require any academic
I know that in
recommendations.
our English masters, we do require academic, but I think it's maybe 1 out of 3, not 2 out of 3.
So it varies, but it'll definitely be like, okay, you only got 1, that's okay. You know,
Correct.
as long as they're good recommendations and they're meaningful, that's good. Yes?
I know that requirements for applying are listed, but what are you looking for in an ideal candidate? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of answers to that, but what are some of the things that you're
Somebody's had at least 2.8 GPA as an undergraduate, it's ideal. And they're very basic minimal requirements. We're not gonna, it's more like, if you're applying and you're interested, there's a very slim chance you're not gonna get it right now. We're not that selective yet, but we don't have large numbers of students.
It's
As we
the
get
first time
larger
that
and larger
we're
numbers of
offering
students,
Yeah.
we may have to be more selective and start weighing different qualities and stuff like that. But we definitely want to make sure your recommendations are positive. Occasionally, I've seen even for special ed some negative recommendations. I'm like, why'd you ask that person? You know? You did, so unfortunately, you're stuck with it, you know? But and we go through your background, you know, are you really interested? Again, like, I would, at one point, I like to interview people and sit down and say, why are you interested in doing this? And especially when I get a lot of people, sometimes people would be like, not to say marketing's bad, but they'd come to me after being 10 years in marketing and say, I want to start a family, I think I want to go on special ed. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's a really good motivation there. You want to change careers, maybe you should go out and get a job as a paraprofessional for a while. You know? But if you're working in the field, that's huge. You know? That's really huge. Other questions?
Yes,
Mary?
and you also have my email address right here, so if you have questions about English courses or non-licensure type track, then sort of get in touch with me, and both Ken and I are available and are answering our email throughout the summer time, most of the time.
Yeah. No, I'll still be teaching for another 2 weeks, but I answer my emails on a regular basis.
And then,
I think we're very excited about this. This has been a long time in the making. It's quite the battle. You know, you're all from Massachusetts, so you're aware that this has been an ongoing issue since, 2002?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right after, maybe going behind this one.
Yeah, when they decided that, okay, we're not gonna do, we're gonna do English immersion instead of bilingual. And they came up with MTELs, so everybody had to speak and read English, or write read in English, and people lost their jobs because they couldn't do that, and things like that. So, but I've been to many meetings where we have, the discussions was supposed to be something else, but if somebody from the state was there, then it was always somebody who was bringing up the issue of ESL. For half an hour, we had to wait until they finished talking about that. So it's here, we finally got it, and we're finally moving in the right direction. There's going to be a huge demand for teachers, definitely. And I think it's going to make a big change for the students.
There's going to be a huge demand for people who are in the field that need the training or need retraining.
Right.
I can tell you that. I mean, I know at least 30 teachers now that are left hanging because the plan was to take retail this summer, even though many of us didn't need to. We were like, let's get in there and see what's going on and take, this course for the summer, because they will not recertify us in 14 unless we have this. And they're sending out different things about if you have this graduate and that graduate. But the bottom line is, everybody really, I think, needs to go through it again, because so many of the laws have changed. I mean, this year alone, they started in Boston rolling kids out of programs into regular ed. It was
There's a whole new set of standards.
Yeah,
just
the standards were
It's a whole
completely
new
different.
assessment system.
Yeah.
So it's definitely changed a lot. But it's definitely going to be up to speed where it's supposed to be, which is good.
I'm just curious, will the teachers going into this master's program, will they be trained to give all the tests as well? Because we were already licensed to give the tests, and we had our certificates to give the tests, and then we all had to retrain this year. And actually that was an online training so that we could give the tests to the students.
We have a whole course devoted just to assessment.
That's great, because they're really going to need that. There's a lot of kids to test every year. We had hundreds in my building, probably 400 kids had to be tested.
Okay? No more questions? I'm sure you'll think of something. So you know how to contact us, and we'll be more than happy to see if we can give you the answers that you need. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And if you guys have anybody in your district or your schools or friends or anything who might be interested in this program, if you want to take some of these when you leave, just pass it along, feel free.
I'm in East Boston.